SpongeBob SquarePants Mysteries Find a Missing Star. Chapter 1. Call me SpongeBob, a detective, a sleuth, a shamoose, a private eye. Nothing fancy, just a guy with a nose for crime and a body built for absorption. I'm tough, see? As tough as my pants are square. But I wasn't always a detective. Time was when I was a simple fry cook, flipping Krabby Patties at the Krusty Krab. Good at it, too. Hungry customers claimed I was the best thing to happen to Krabby Patties and sliced cheese and fluffy buns. Everything was swell. The diners were satisfied, I was working hard, and my boss, Mr. Krabs, was raking in the dough. Everyone was happy. Well, except maybe for my coworker Squidward. Seems like that mug always had a sour look on his kisser. Good guy, though. Loved me like a brother. And as it turned out, when it came to detective work, a terrific partner. Anyway, life was sailing along as smoothly as a pirate ship on calm blue waters. Until one fateful day, when everything changed. Funny thing is, that day started out just like any other in Bikini Bottom. Upstairs in his pineapple under the sea, SpongeBob slept soundly curled up on 3 thick mattresses, snoring with a soft, high-pitched whistle. He smiled as he slept, dreaming of jellyfish and soap bubbles. On the floor next to his bed, SpongeBob's pet snail Gary slept soundly too, dreaming of snail food and heroic adventures. Meow. Meow. Boop, boop, boop. SpongeBob's foghorn alarm clock blasted its booming alert, waking them both up in plenty of time for SpongeBob to get ready and go to work at the Krusty Krab. Good morning, Gary! SpongeBob called out cheerfully. Ready for a fantastic day? Wow! Gary replied, still sleepy and a little disappointed to be snapped out of his heroic adventure before he finished eating the brimming bowl of snail food. After a quick shower with plenty of soap bubbles, SpongeBob put on his brown SquarePants and white shirt. He tied his red tie in a perfect square knot and pulled on his long white socks, each with one thin red stripe and one thin blue stripe. Finally, he slipped into his black shoes, polished to a high gloss until he could see his grinning face reflected in their smooth curved surfaces. His reflection smiled back at him and proclaimed, "You're ready!" Downstairs in the kitchen, SpongeBob poured a generous dish of snail food for Gary and a heaping bowl of Kelpo cereal for himself. "Breakfast, Gary!" SpongeBob announced. "Among the 3 most important meals of the day!" After crunching down his tasty, nutritious breakfast, SpongeBob vigorously brushed his 2 front teeth and headed out the door. "Bye, Gary!" he sang out, waving. "I'm off to the Krusty Krab to cook delicious Krabby Patties for the hungry citizens of Bikini Bottom." "Meow," Gary said with his mouth still full of mushy snail po. He planned to go straight back to bed after SpongeBob left, hoping to resume his adventurous, delicious dreams. SpongeBob closed his front door and walked down the sidewalk with a spring in his step. It was a beautiful day in Bikini Bottom, and he felt happy to be alive. Whistling a jaunty tune, SpongeBob headed past Squidward's house and straight to Patrick's big brown rock. Bam! 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 SpongeBob knocked on the boulder, hoping Patrick hadn't overslept. He was a sound sleeper. "Good morning, Patrick," he said. "Ready to walk me to work at the Krusty Krab?" Spring! The rock flipped open on its hinge with Patrick attached to its upper half, already fully dressed in his green and purple shorts. "You know it," he announced, hopping down next to SpongeBob. "Let's do this thing!"
The two best buddies marched off down the road toward the Krusty Krab. It wasn't far, so in just a few minutes, they'd arrived at Bikini Bottom's favorite fast food eatery. SpongeBob had no idea his friend was about to disappear off the face of the sea. As he headed inside, SpongeBob asked,
So, what's the big Patrick Star plan for today?
Huh? Patrick asked, confused. Did someone make a plan for me? What have you heard? Wasn't it in the newspaper? Chuckling, SpongeBob explained,
No! I just mean, what are you going to do all day? Work? Play? Sleep? Explore a new hobby? Maybe a little coral cartography? Algae spotting? Trench tumbling?
Patrick looked away, not meeting SpongeBob's friendly, curious gaze. Oh, I don't know, he said a little woodenly. Just, the usual things that I, Patrick, do during the day. Normal sea star stuff. Nothing out of the ordinary for me, Patrick. The end.
Sounds good, Patrick, SpongeBob said, grinning. Have fun! Meet me right here outside the Krusty Krab after I'm done with work, and we'll have lots of best buddies fun together!
He laughed his high-pitched laugh, sounding a little like a nervous dolphin being tickled with a feather. You got it, buddy, Patrick said, waving back over his shoulder as he hurried away from the restaurant. See you then, after my totally typical day, doing nothing at all unusual. SpongeBob worked hard that day, as he always did, frying out Krabby Patties, wiping off tables, swabbing out the toilets, and doing anything else Mr. Krabs asked him to do. At the end of the day, he felt tired, but satisfied with a full day of honest accomplishment.
What more could I ask for?
He thought to himself contentedly.
Another terrific day at the Krusty Krab!
SpongeBob gushed forward as they stuck their time cards in the machine and kept track of how many hours they'd worked. Thunk! What was so terrific about it? Squidward groused. SpongeBob laughed.
Oh, I don't know, Squidward, he said. Just everything. The Krabby Patties, the customers, the smell of the fries, the spring of the spatula, the sizzle of the grease. But most of all, the camaraderie of the happy employees.
Squidward looked as though he was going to be sick. Ugh, SpongeBob, he said in his grumpiest voice. The only good thing about this workday was when it ended. That was 2 minutes ago, which means I don't have to talk to you anymore. He stomped out of the Krusty Krab, eager to change into his leotard, and spent a long, sweaty evening in his modern dance class. He was learning a new routine his instructor had choreographed specifically for a foot-footed dancer. 3 of his feet were doing pretty well, but the 4th was still struggling with the steps. SpongeBob laughed.
Good one, Squidward! See you tomorrow!
Whistling a cheerful tune, he went to Mr. Krabs' office and stuck his head in the door.
Good night, Mr. Krabs! See you tomorrow!
Yeah, Mr. Krabs muttered, too busy counting his money to pay much attention to his devoted fry cook. And he looked up from the pile of cash, remembering something. Tomorrow! That reminds me, boy! Tomorrow morning, the mayor of Bikini Bottom is coming by for a very lucrative, important meeting. So be on your best behavior and keep the Krabby Patties flowing. SpongeBob snapped off a crisp salute.
Yes, sir, Mr. Krabs. You can count on me.
I'd rather count me beloved money, Mr. Krabs said, turning back to his stacks of bills and coins and giving them a few quick kisses. Good night, SpongeBob. SpongeBob hurried out through the front doors of the Krusty Krab, eager to meet up with his best friend.
Oh, Patrick! He hollered joyfully. Wait until you hear about my day at the Krusty Krab! The patty flipping, the table wiping, the toilet scrubbing!
SpongeBob stopped dead in his tracks. He looked all around, but Patrick wasn't there waiting for him. Stay tuned for Chapter 2, coming up soon.